What's going on, guys? Cleepus Tech here, coming back at you with another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks for the camera of the BLU V91 to help you get comfortable taking pictures with this phone. But before we get into it, I do want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot. That being said, let's get started. So the first thing I want to go over is what we can do with the volume key. Right now, if we hit the volume keys when the camera is open, it's going to trigger the shutter. But there are a couple other things we can do. So let's go to settings. And right here, this is where you're going to change what the volume key does, where it says volume key feature. So now you can either change the volume, which I personally think is rather useless, or you can have it zoom. So I just set it to zoom and look what happens. It's nice to be able to do this because it gives you some flexibility in the controls of your phone when you're using the camera. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to turn on the timer. The timer can be really useful if you're taking a picture by yourself. Maybe you need to be in the picture or something like that. And it gives you a more hands-free way of taking a picture without having to have someone else do it for you. So to turn on the timer, we're going to go to settings, and self timer is right here. Once you hit this, you're going to have the option between nothing, 2 seconds, or 10 seconds. Honestly, 2 seconds does feel a little bit useless to me. I'm not quite sure what you can do to prepare for a picture in 2 seconds, but it is there if you want to use it. 10 seconds is much more useful, giving you the time to set up your phone and get into the frame before it goes off. The next thing I'm going to show you is 2 quick ways to open the camera. Now, hitting the camera app is easy enough, but if you're on a different page and you still want to open the camera quickly, there's some better options to do this. The first thing is really easy. All you need to do is double tap the power key and it's going to open up. It's going to ask you which app you want to use to do this. If you have multiple different apps like Snapchat and all that, if you only want it to open the regular camera, you can simply select camera and hit always. The next way to open the camera is even cooler than this. All you need to do is put 3 fingers on your screen and swipe up like that. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to activate the grid. The grid can be really useful if you're trying to center something in the frame, or maybe if you're trying to line something up in a certain way. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to show you how to activate it. So what we're going to do is go to settings, and grid line is right here. Just hit this and it's going to activate the grid, and there you go. Once you want to turn it off, go back to this same menu and hit it one more time, and there we go. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to mute the shutter sound. Sometimes when you're taking pictures, the shutter sound can get really annoying. If you're taking lots of photos, or maybe you're in an environment that's a little quiet, then it could be nice to just mute the camera. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's go to settings one more time and hit camera mute. When it's highlighted like this, that shows that the camera is indeed muted, so you won't hear any sounds when you take a picture. The next thing I'm going to show you is a feature called touch shooting. This feature is really useful if you're shooting a photo at a weird angle. Maybe you only have one hand to do it, and you don't want to risk reaching over to the shutter button and dropping your phone in the process. So what you're going to do is go to settings and hit touch shooting. When it's highlighted, that's how you know it's activated. And now all you need to do to take a photo is go like this. This is really useful because you might be in a situation where you have to hold the phone at an odd angle and don't want to have to reach for the shutter button in order to take a picture. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to activate the ultra-wide camera. This is actually really easy. All you need to do is hit this little button in the middle that looks like a windshield wiper, and it's going to turn on the ultra-wide camera. And just remember, when it's highlighted in yellow, that's how you know you are using the wide angle shot. If you have it like this for a long period of time, you might just get used to it and think it's the actual normal camera, but actually whenever it's yellow, that is showing the ultra-wide camera is being used. To get back to the normal screen, just hit it one more time and it's going to take you back to the normal frame. Now I'm going to show you the exact opposite of the ultra-wide camera, and that is the macro camera. So what we're gonna do to get to the macro camera is go to more down here. And macro mode is right here, along with lots of other modes. Now you might wanna browse through this sometime. Now that the macro camera is activated, you're gonna wanna get within 2 to 3 centimeters from your subject in order to focus properly. To get out of macro mode, all you need to do is hit this X and you're gonna go back to the regular photo mode. As a side note, there are tons of other features for the camera in the more section, and I do suggest taking a look at them and seeing if there are any features that you like. The next thing I'm gonna show you is how to change the aspect ratio of a photo. This is really useful because depending on what you're doing with these photos, different shapes and sizes for them might work better than others. So to do this, we're gonna go to settings and hit picture size. By default, it's 4:3, but you can also change it to any of the options below. The last thing I'm gonna show you is how to use portrait mode. Now, portrait mode is a little different on this phone than others. Most phones have something on the bottom bar or maybe in the more section that actually says portrait mode. But for this phone, portrait mode is actually right up here. Once you hit this, you're gonna go into portrait mode and you can change the actual parameters of portrait mode using this little icon right here. And you can change the depth of the photo using the icon right here. When you wanna leave portrait mode, all you need to do is just hit this icon once more and you're gonna be back in the normal photo mode. But these were my camera tips and tricks for the BLU V91. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this information useful as well. If you wanna learn more about the phone itself, you can check out my full review of this device on the channel. And if you happen to be watching this after you bought the phone and wanna learn more tips and tricks like this, definitely check out my beginner's guide and my tips and tricks video for this phone, where I go over lots of other different features on it. But that's it for today. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.